The sand trembled as the first crack split the shell, and silence shattered into the cry of survival. Tiny grains collapsed like an avalanche upon Lucas, his heart thundering with primal fear. Shadows stretched long under the cruel moonlight, and Emily whispered, "The night will not forgive the weak." A dark wing sliced the air above, and Marcus said, "They smell life before it breathes." The nest writhed with hatchlings, each one clawing upward into an unforgiving whirl. Daniel said, "Not all will reach the sea." The wind howled, dragging the scent of salt and death across the beach. A fox's eyes glowed from the dune, its hunger steady as fire. Sarah whispered, "It waits because it knows they cannot run." The storm cracked overhead, lightning tearing the sky open like a wound. Every heartbeat pulsed with the certainty of danger, and the fragile cry of life was already swallowed by the roar of predators. The law of the wild had spoken before the first breath was even taken. The sand pit deepened, and Lucas clawed toward the surface, his breaths ragged and desperate. Emily said, "Every second in the open is a second stolen from life." Marcus whispered, "Predators are already closing in." Daniel's lantern flickered, and Sarah's eyes searched the shadows. The fox shifted in the dunes, waiting. The storm cracked again, and lightning revealed the fragile hatchling scattering blindly. The night had no mercy, only rules written in hunger. Lucas stumbled free from the nest, his flippers trembling in the wind. Emily said, "He is too small." Marcus muttered, "Size means nothing against hunger." Daniel's jaw tightened. Sarah whispered, "The sea is far, and time is cruel." Thunder roared above, and the fox edged closer. The hatchlings scattered in panic as wind roared. Lucas pressed forward, flippers sinking deep. Emily said, "The storm drives them apart." Marcus whispered, "Predators thrive in chaos." Daniel's lantern sputtered, and Sarah's voice trembled, "It waits for the weakest." Lightning struck again, revealing Lucas crawling toward the sea, each inch carved from pain. Emily said, "He fights though the odds are merciless." Marcus whispered, "The fox is ready." Daniel muttered, "Only one path exists, forward." Sarah's breath caught as the predator's shadow lengthened. The wind eased for a moment, and Lucas dragged himself forward, his body trembling with exhaustion. Emily said, "He carries the weight of life in every fragile step." Marcus whispered, "The sea calls him, but it is still far." Daniel tightened his grip on the lantern, shadows carving across his stern face. Sarah's voice shook, "The world is already against him." The hatchlings scattered, but Lucas lingered, slower than the rest. Above, the fox prowled silently, patient and watchful. Emily's eyes softened. "He does not know fear, only instinct." Marcus muttered, "An instinct is not enough." Daniel exhaled heavily, and Sarah's hand covered her mouth. The waves roared like an ancient judge, reminding all that survival was a debt never freely given. Lucas crawled, flippers clawing the wet sand, each inch a cry against fate. His tiny body glistened with moonlit salt, fragile against the immensity of the night. The fight had become personal, a single life etched into the hearts of those who watched. Lucas collapsed briefly into the sand, his body quivering, yet his eyes still faced the ocean. Emily whispered, "Every breath is defiance." Marcus said, "His weakness makes him visible." Daniel growled, "Weakness does not always mean defeat." Sarah murmured, "The tide waits for no one." The hatchlings ahead vanished into dark waves, their tiny splashes lost in the roar. The fox crept forward, hunger pressing like fire in its veins. Emily's voice hardened, "He must reach before it does." Marcus shook his head, eyes dark. Daniel whispered, "The world will not stop." Sarah's breath caught in fear as Lucas struggled upright again. The sand clung to his fragile shell, glistening with salt and light. The ocean shimmered beyond, eternal yet unreachable, a cruel promise shimmering against the storm's broken silence. The sea thundered, waves surging closer, and Lucas staggered across uneven ground. Emily said, "He does not stop." Marcus muttered, "He cannot afford to." Daniel's voice rumbled, The ocean is not mercy. It is trial. Sarah whispered, every inch is a battle. Lightning cracked again, illuminating the fox now stalking the dunes. The hatchlings that had reached the water vanished into churning foam. Emily's eyes glistened. He is still alive, still fighting. Marcus replied, the question is, for how long? Daniel's lantern flickered, flames stretched thin against the wind. Sarah's gaze never left Lucas as he pressed forward, sand sticking to his fragile skin. Each movement seemed impossibly small, but together they built defiance. The storm eased just enough to reveal the moonlit expanse of ocean, vast and endless, both salvation and terror. Lucas stumbled into a shallow dip in the sand, sinking as waves roared louder. Emily cried, he is sinking. Marcus said, the dunes themselves fight him. Daniel muttered, nature spares no one. Sarah whispered, and yet he still moves. The fox lowered its body, waiting for the moment of collapse. Lucas struggled free, flippers scraping hard, dragging his weight across the shifting sand. Emily clenched her fists. He is not giving in. Marcus's face hardened, though his eyes betrayed doubt. Daniel's jaw tightened further, his grip unyielding on the lantern. Sarah's whisper trembled. It should not be this hard, yet it always is. The wind picked up, dragging sand in waves across the fragile path. Lucas pressed forward, a small figure defying an eternal law carved into the wild. Lucas broke free from the dip, crawling toward the wet sand where waves reached. Emily whispered, he is closer now. Marcus muttered, closer does not mean safe. Daniel said, the sea can save or kill. Sarah's voice trembled, but it is all he has. The fox shifted, muscles tightening, ready to strike. Lightning flashed, and the ocean shimmered like silver fire. Lucas dragged himself further, leaving tiny trails behind him, fragile proof of resistance. Emily's voice cracked. He carries every fragile hope. Marcus's breath was heavy, watching the tension rise. Daniel's lantern guttered low. Sarah pressed her palms together, whispering without sound. The night held its breath, waiting to decide the fate of one so small against the world's endless hunger. The storm returned with vengeance, waves crashing harder as Lucas pressed into wet sand. Emily cried, the sea turns against him. Marcus muttered, even the ocean wants to take. Daniel said, this is no rescue, it is trial by death. Sarah's voice trembled. He is still moving. The fox edged nearer, teeth bared, body low. Lightning revealed its hunger like a blade across the night. Lucas dragged forward, every motion slower, every breath louder. Emily's eyes burned with fear. He carries more than himself now. Marcus whispered, predators strike when hope grows loudest. Daniel's lantern sputtered against the storm. Sarah covered her mouth, whispering prayers swallowed by thunder. Lucas struggled forward, fragile and determined, while danger closed like jaws on every side. The hatchlings scattered farther apart, each swallowed by the immensity of the tide. Emily whispered, the sea divides them. Marcus said, separation is death. Daniel muttered, only those who endure find water. Sarah's eyes fixed on Lucas, who dragged himself through froth and sand. The fox lunged forward, paws digging into the dune. Emily's hand clenched tight. He must not fall. Marcus shook his head, whispering, the sea won't save him. Daniel's voice rumbled, the world does not care. Sarah's breath trembled, but he still fights. Waves roared louder, crashing violently, drowning all sound. Lucas moved still, each inch defying the storm. His small form became a symbol of resistance, though danger pressed closer from all sides. Lucas reached the surf's edge, waves dragging him backward, flippers clawing furiously. Emily said, the water does not welcome him. Marcus muttered, it pulls harder than he can fight. Daniel whispered, the sea claims as often as it gives. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but he refuses surrender. The fox stepped closer, shadows clinging like armor. Lightning cracked and thunder rolled like the world splitting apart. Lucas surged forward, briefly lifted by a wave, then slammed into sand again. Emily cried, "He is still alive." Marcus clenched his jaw, muttering, "For now." Daniel's lantern shook, flame bending to wind. Sarah whispered, "The fight is not over." Each wave struck like a predator, battering his fragile body. Yet he crawled again, each motion a defiance carved into storm and death. The surf slammed harder, dragging Lucas deeper into foamy darkness. Emily shouted, "He is drowning in the shallows." Marcus whispered, "The sea becomes the predator now." Daniel muttered, "This is where most are lost." Sarah's voice broke, "He is too small." Lucas gasped for air, his body battered, but he fought toward shore again, refusing to vanish beneath water. The fox prowled closer, eyes locked like fire on prey. Emily's hands pressed into the sand, trembling. Marcus's jaw hardened, his silence sharp as steel. Daniel's lantern flickered to near darkness. Sarah's whisper broke into sobs. Lightning tore across the horizon, illuminating Lucas against the raging sea, his tiny form defying the wild law that sought to erase him. He clawed forward, shivering, still breathing, still alive. Lucas collapsed on wet sand, chest heaving, flippers trembling without strength. Emily whispered, "He cannot last." Marcus muttered, "The sea and land conspire both against him." Daniel said, "Survival demands what he may not have." Sarah cried softly, "He should not still be alive." The fox lowered, body poised, tail lashing with hunger. Emily clenched her jaw. "He has not surrendered yet." Marcus said, "Predators do not wait forever." Daniel's lantern sputtered again, the light almost extinguished. Sarah's hands shook, covering her mouth. Lucas twitched, his body lifting slightly, dragging forward one last time. The sea thundered behind him, the fox crouched before him. The storm's fury framed his fragile figure caught between two merciless forces. The night waited for its answer, survival or death. The fox froze, ears pricked, as another sound echoed from the dunes. Emily whispered, "Something else waits." Marcus muttered, "The hunter is not alone." Daniel said, "Even predators are hunted." Sarah's eyes widened. What else could it be? The night cracked with a screech, as an owl swept overhead, wings slicing air like knives. The fox's eyes flicked upward, hunger split by sudden fear. Lucas dragged himself farther, unaware of the new shadow above. Emily whispered, "Nature turns on itself." Marcus's jaw tightened, the rules shift without warning. Daniel muttered, "The predator becomes prey." Sarah's hands trembled as she watched the duel of instincts unfold. The storm eased, moonlight harsh against sand and feathers. Lucas clawed forward, trapped beneath a world rewriting itself with violence. The owl struck, feathers slicing air as talons slashed near the fox. Emily gasped, "The hunter is hunted." Marcus whispered, "The balance is never fixed." Daniel growled, "It is war without sides." Sarah's voice shook, "Life turns on chance." The fox dodged, snarling, sand sprang as it snapped at the owl's wing. Lucas clawed forward still, his small form ignored by titans clashing above. Emily's eyes glistened, "He survives because others fight." Marcus muttered, "Every survival is stolen from another." Daniel's lantern swayed violently in the wind. Sarah whispered, "It should not be this cruel." The owl shrieked again, feathers scattering across the storm-lit beach. The night became chaos, predator versus predator, while one fragile creature slipped unnoticed toward the tide. Lucas paused, his body shaking, as the clash raged around him. Emily whispered, "He does not know the chaos saves him." Marcus said, "Ignorance spares him fear." Daniel muttered, "But it changes nothing." Sarah's voice cracked, "Every moment is a gift stolen." The fox lunged upward, snapping teeth catching only feathers. The owl screeched, wings beating violently, sand exploding in clouds. Lucas crawled again, tiny body framed against storm and shadow. Emily's voice hardened, "He is not weak, he is enduring." Marcus's face darkened. "Survival is not virtue, It is accident. Daniel exhaled heavily, lantern glow barely clinging. Sarah's eyes shimmered, whispering, "But accident is enough." The owl and fox tore at each other, blind to the hatchling slipping beneath their battle. The owl struck again, claws raking the fox's flank, blood streaking sand. Emily gasped, the wild takes without hesitation. Marcus muttered, "Pain belongs to all, predator or prey." Daniel said, "The law is written in blood." Sarah whispered, "And it never ends." The fox yelped but lunged again, teeth flashing, fur bristling. Lucas pushed forward, inch by inch, unnoticed in the storm. Emily whispered, "The storm hides him." Marcus said, "No storm lasts forever." Daniel's lantern guttered lower. Sarah's trembling fingers clutched the sand. The battle raged above, violence reshaping the night, while a fragile shell crawled beneath it all, stubborn and unseen, guided only by instinct toward the roaring sea. The owl retreated suddenly, wings carrying it into the storm's void. Emily whispered, "It spares itself, not him." Marcus muttered, "The fox still hunts." Daniel growled, "But the hatchling has time." Sarah's breath shook, every second matters. The fox staggered, bleeding, yet its eyes never left Lucas. The hatchling crawled forward, reaching the line of foamy tide. Emily's voice cracked, "He has touched the sea." Marcus whispered, "But it may still reject him." Daniel's face tightened, lantern flame almost gone. Sarah's whisper broke, "The night does not decide yet." Waves surged forward, lifting Lucas slightly, his body trembling yet unbroken. Behind him the fox crouched lower, a shadow that refused surrender. Between sea and predator, fate prepared its cruelest test. Waves thundered as Lucas reached the foam line, his fragile body trembling between survival and death. Emily cried, "He has touched the sea." Marcus muttered, "But the fox will not relent." Daniel growled, "This is the final trial." Sarah whispered, "He cannot turn back." The fox lunged, its body low, bleeding flank glistening in moonlight. Lightning split the sky, framing predator and hatchling in brutal symmetry. Lucas clawed forward, lifted slightly by a surging wave. Emily shouted, "Run to the water, little one." Marcus's jaw clenched. The sea swallows as quickly as it saves. Daniel's lantern flickered out, leaving darkness broken only by storm flashes. Sarah's voice cracked, "The night demands sacrifice." The clash sharpened, predator, prey, and sea converging into one heartbeat. The fox charged, sand exploding beneath its paws. Emily gasped, "It will take him now." Marcus whispered, "This is the end." Daniel muttered, "Not yet." Sarah's breath trembled, "Please, not now." Lucas pressed forward as a wave surged, pulling him into shallow surf. The fox claws tore the sand where he had been seconds before. Emily shouted, "The sea pulled him away." Marcus muttered, "But it pulls toward death as well." Daniel's eyes narrowed, voice low, "It is the only path left." Sarah's hands clasped together, whispering words without sound. Thunder crashed overhead as the predator snarled, pacing at the edge of water it feared to enter. Lucas floated briefly, then clawed back toward the tide, fragile yet unyielding. A massive wave crashed, burying Lucas beneath swirling foam. Emily screamed, "He is gone." Marcus muttered, "The ocean claims him." Daniel's voice rumbled, "He must rise, or he is lost." Sarah cried, "He cannot fight the sea." Seconds stretched, the storm silencing hearts, until Lucas burst through foam, gasping, flippers slapping water. Emily shouted, "He is alive." Marcus shook his head, "The sea toys before it kills." Daniel's jaw tightened, eyes unyielding. Sarah sobbed with relief, "He breathes still." The fox snarled from shore, pacing, powerless against the tide. Waves roared louder, dragging Lucas deeper, spinning his tiny form in violent currents. Still, he clawed forward, fragile yet fierce, each breath a rebellion against drowning. The surf dragged Lucas farther, tossing his fragile body like driftwood. Emily cried, "He cannot fight the sea's strength." Marcus muttered. This is survival's cruelty. Daniel said. He has endured worse tonight. Sarah whispered, but he is so small. Lightning flashed, illuminating Lucas spinning in foam, flippers clawing desperately. The fox snarled from shore, frustrated hunger echoing against thunder. Emily's voice cracked. He must find rhythm, or he will drown. Marcus whispered, nature does not care for rhythm. Daniel's voice lowered, yet he claws on still. Sarah covered her face, trembling. Lucas struggled, fragile body caught in violent current, yet still moving forward, carving his path into chaos. Predator and storm circled him, but he endured. The storm's rage peaked, waves towering as if to crush the fragile life below. Emily shouted, "This is the final strike." Marcus whispered, "No hatchling survives this." Daniel growled, "He has defied too much to fall now." Sarah's tears streamed. "Please let him live." The fox crouched, powerless, hunger defeated by water's dominion. A wave crashed, lifting Lucas high, hurling him deeper toward the open sea. Emily gasped, "He rides it." Marcus muttered, "Or it drags him forever." Daniel's eyes burned. "He has earned this fight." Sarah's whisper trembled, "He carries us all with him." The wave crashed forward, carrying Lucas beyond the predator's reach. The sea swallowed him whole, no longer victim but voyager. The storm waned, its fury fading into a heavy silence, broken only by the ocean's rhythm. Emily whispered, "He has been taken beyond the shore." Marcus muttered, "The sea is no safer than the sand." Daniel said, "Yet he lives in its hands now." Sarah's eyes glistened. The tide did not claim him. The fox slumped at the shoreline, hunger etched into its defeated stance. Emily's breath trembled. Nature chose neither kindness nor cruelty. Marcus whispered, "It simply chose." Daniel's gaze held steady. "He continues because chance allowed." Sarah murmured, "And chance is all we ever have." The beach stilled, blood from predators wound staining sand, the storm's echo lingering. Lucas's fragile shell vanished into waves, carried toward depths unseen but eternal. The waves rolled steadily, swallowing footprints and trails of hatchlings. Emily whispered, "The beach forgets so quickly." Marcus muttered, "Every struggle erased by the tide." Daniel said, "Memory belongs only to those who witness." Sarah's voice shook, "But he lives somewhere in the dark." The fox limped into the dunes, its hunger unsatisfied, body marked by defeat. Emily sighed, "Predators fall too." Marcus replied coldly, "But they always return." Daniel's lantern flickered back to life, pale glow chasing shadows. Sarah whispered, "The sea carries him fragile but unbroken." Lightning had faded, leaving only a solemn moon, silver and absolute. The night felt eternal, but the hatchling's journey continued unseen, far from the chaos that birthed it. The beach lay scarred but silent, its violence buried beneath waves. Emily said, "We are left only with echoes." Marcus muttered, "Survival is never victory, only postponement." Daniel's jaw tightened. He endured this night. Sarah whispered, "And that is enough." The fox trail vanished into shifting sand, its hunger lingering unseen. Emily's eyes softened. "Perhaps chance favors the fragile," Marcus said, "or it simply delays the inevitable." Daniel's lantern cast thin light across broken dunes. Sarah's lips trembled, but in this moment he is alive. The sea stretched vast, indifferent, eternal. Lucas floated beyond sight, unseen but surviving, a fragile spark against infinity's shadow. The world neither mourned nor celebrated, yet the silence felt like witness. Emily stared at the ocean, voice breaking, "He has vanished into the dark." Marcus muttered, "The ocean is endless, and so is danger." Daniel said, "But tonight he defied the world." Sarah's eyes glistened. "He fought when none should have." The fox no longer lingered, only silence filled its absence. Emily sighed, "The wild gives nothing freely." Marcus whispered, "It takes until nothing remains." Daniel's jaw clenched, "And yet something remains." Sarah murmured, a fragile life, carried forward. The storm was gone, leaving only the hiss of waves and stillness of night. Lucas's path now belonged to the ocean, his story written beyond human eyes, yet etched forever in the hearts that watched. The night fell still, the chaos now memory carved in silence. Emily whispered, "We will not see him again." Marcus muttered, "His fight is his own now." Daniel said, "But we witnessed, and that matters." Sarah whispered, "It matters because he survived." The fox was gone, storm clouds faded, the beach erased by tide. Emily's eyes softened, the fragile fought and endured. Marcus said coldly, "Endurance is not forever." Daniel's gaze hardened, "But it is tonight." Sarah's whisper trembled, "And tonight is enough." The ocean glowed faint with moonlight, carrying a life far beyond shore. Lucas's struggle ended not in silence but in continuation, his fragile spark now part of the eternal sea. The circle had closed, and the world had moved on. The beach lay silent, the storm now only memory carved into sand and salt. Emily whispered, "The night has ended, but the struggle does not." Marcus muttered, "Life continues without pause." Daniel said, "We have seen the truth of survival." Sarah's voice trembled, "The fragile endured, but at what cost?" The fox trail faded into dunes, erased by shifting wind. Emily's eyes searched the horizon, "The ocean hides him now." Marcus whispered, "And it will hide him forever." Daniel's lantern flickered weakly, glow lost to moonlight. Sarah murmured, "His fight echoes still." The waves rolled steady, their rhythm unchanged, yet the night carried the weight of all that had been endured. The silence itself felt alive, holding memory in its breath. Emily's whisper broke the silence, "We will never know if he survives." Marcus muttered, "Not knowing is the truth of nature." Daniel said, "The wild gives no answers, only outcomes." Sarah's eyes watered, "Yet he lives in us, in this moment." The sea swallowed the last trace of hatchlings, their trails erased, their cries silenced. Emily sighed, "We are left with echoes." Marcus's voice hardened, "And echoes do not save." Daniel's jaw set, "But they remind us of what we cannot forget." Sarah whispered, "That the smallest life carries the greatest weight." The beach seemed eternal again, but hearts were forever scarred. The echo of struggle lingered like thunder beyond the horizon. The ocean stretched into infinity, its darkness holding secrets none would ever see. Emily whispered, "He carries the weight of all who were lost." Marcus muttered, "And he may carry nothing at all." Daniel said, "But tonight, he carried life itself." Sarah's lips trembled, a fragile spark against an endless void. The fox's absence spoke louder than its hunger, silence more haunting than its growl. Emily's eyes softened, "The wild erases, but we remember." Marcus's voice turned low, "Memory does not keep the small alive." Daniel's gaze burned steady, "But it keeps us human." Sarah whispered, "And it makes the silence heavier." The sea roared softly, endless and eternal, each wave an echo of battles unseen. Emily whispered, "He is no longer ours to see." Marcus muttered, "The sea has claimed him." Daniel said, "It was always his path." Sarah's tears glistened, "But he was never meant to walk it alone." The storm was gone, stars breaking through clouds, calm descending. Emily's breath slowed. He was fragile, yet he endured. Marcus's voice sharpened, "Endurance is not promise, it is delay." Daniel's lantern finally dimmed, fading into darkness. Sarah whispered, still, his breath defied the silence. The ocean swallowed the moon's reflection, leaving shadows. The echo of the night lingered, sharp, unforgettable, each heart marked by what had been seen, and what had been lost. The final wave rolled quietly, leaving the beach smooth, erasing all scars. Emily whispered, "His cry will never be heard again." Marcus muttered, "But his silence is louder than life." Daniel said, "He is gone, yet he endures in memory." Sarah's breath shook, "He is the echo we cannot forget." The fox's shadow no longer remained, its hunger swallowed by night. Emily's eyes closed. The fragile spark has passed into eternity. Marcus's voice was low. The sea keeps what it takes. Daniel's jaw clenched, but the fight remains with us. Sarah whispered, and the echo carries forever. The last image of Lucas vanished beneath the vast ocean, but the silence he left pierced deeper than thunder, eternal, unforgettable.